Hello all. So today we are going to talk about the books that I read in the month of April. I know that I'm going to post this on the 29th of April, and today is 29th of April, but I already finished all my books that I said I was going to read. I didn't deviate from the books that I've chosen. Only one I chosen another one within the same universe. But I'll talk more about that in the brief. So the first book that I've read was, and I read like this in a couple of days, like in 2 days, was the last book in the Archive. In the omnibus, the first omnibus that Titan Books published. This one is The Female War, published written by Stephen Perry and Stephanie Perry, which they are father and daughter, and while the two previous ones were written by only Steve Perry. I believe this is the last, or at least it's the second to last book published within this alternative history, where the aliens have conquered the Earth. Basically, humanity has fled, a vast majority has fled, and we follow the two main characters from the two previous books. Amid the stars, they are encountered by Lieutenant Ripley, that you already know, and they together go to a planet where there is a general, and he's doing some weird stuff with the aliens for making them fight the other aliens. So basically, they are using aliens to fight aliens, and so after that part they travel to another galaxy where they encounter not the master, but because it's a female, but the queen of the queens of the aliens. To be fair, it's a bit weird, and I didn't enjoy this book as much as I hoped, and to be honest, barely a point above the second book. The first one was the better one, the second one was not that good, and the third was also not good. 2 stars for it. I didn't enjoy it. It was a bit weird. Even the relation between the two main characters that from the previous novels, it's a bit weird, knowing that this book was written by a father and daughter, and there is some kind of similarities there of sexual attraction between a guy that thinks her as a daughter and she thinks him as a father. So it's kind of weird that I didn't enjoy this again. So I gave this a 2 star book. Then, in terms of books that I read, I'm going to try to show you. I'm going to try to show you in reading order, and this was Old Moon, Volume 2. This is like not like it's a is-in with 50 pages, 66 pages, and I didn't enjoy this as well. I read this in 1 day, and I would think that maybe apart from the interview with John Lennon, I didn't enjoy the stories. I was not impressed by it. I didn't find interest to, okay, let me find more about these authors, and I gave up pretty soon. The next book I read was, I did finish because I started before, was R.L. Salvatore, Raid of the Patriarch. This is the last book in the Sellsword series. I was delaying this for some years now, like 3 years, and it felt because I didn't feel invested on these characters. I didn't enjoy this book as much as I hoped, being that it's one of the most beloved out there with 4.20, but I didn't care. I do care. I like Entreri, I like Jarlaxle, but I didn't care about this novel as I hoped. Sorry, something fell off. But overall, I'm not against. I'm not against. Sorry, not against. I'm eagerly waiting to read the next book, more focused on Greece maybe, and I will try to commit to read one every year, or one at least every 6 months or something like that, because being apart from this for 2 or 3 years, it's too much. You forget about characters, the plot and so on. That's my understanding here. Then about other things that I read, I am going to talk about the manga afterwards, because I don't want to talk about this now. I read Herald of Ruin by the Sanford Files, Book 2. This is the sequel of the first one, and there is one more to go on this series. The last, I'm going to try to call the name of the book, but was, I can't remember the name, Tim Pratt, Ravening Deep. And this is the second book on the trilogy. You can read this independently, you don't have to read anything before, although your experience of the book will be enhanced, because it talks much more about the main character, Carl Sanford, and Twilight Silver Lodge. So if you enjoy those things, I would say this is a great introduction to the series. I did make a independent review for this novel, so I'm not going to delve much more on it, but if you enjoy Arkham or books like this, I would say this is a good entry point if you are interested on Silver Twilight Lodge or Carl Sanford. If you're not, maybe pick up something else, but this one is cool. It doesn't feature a old one per se. The evil is a bit different, probably going to be informed in the next book in the series. This doesn't have the same catastrophic feel or the impending doom feel that some other novels have, like the Wrath of Nakai or Shadows of Penat, or something other novels. But 88 out of 100, so one of the top contenders for the book of the month. Then I did finish another book which I didn't enjoy, and this is my last foray into this author, which is Blood Red by Paul Kane. This is the second. I read the second novel. The first novel I was not impressed. The second novel I still not impressed about this tale. It's a bit confusing. I didn't enjoy the characters. I enjoyed the ending. I would say that was most surprising part, but I didn't enjoy the end. The overall story. It takes too much time to arrive somewhere, and it's not pleasantly. Didn't feel my interest on the stories about these monsters. Maybe the third book will enhance this, will bring more information about these beings, monsters, and more backstory. I'm well divided to finish this book. I to be honest, I don't know, but for now I'm not keen to write more about this. I gave this one 61 out of 100. Then the other book I read was a book that I was overly disappointed, to be honest. It was Lee Montfort, Tormented. I read a book by him this year, and I did enjoy it so much that I purchased every book from him, because I think, okay, this author is for me. But after reading this one, I didn't enjoy this. There's some Lovecraftian stuff there, there's some horror stuff there, but none of the characters are really interesting, apart from the main evil character, if you can call it that. I didn't enjoy this. I didn't enjoy this tale. It takes too much time to do something interesting, and when it does end rather quickly. So, not my favorite I read, but I will continue to read more of him. At least from what I've read in the Goodreads, this is one of his least favorite books. So maybe I was wrong to choose this one. Maybe not. I don't know. I have the books, so I have to read them. So I gave this 48 out of 100. Then I'm going to talk about two books that I already made a bigger video, which is She Topples Giants. This is the first book in the Bartron Small trilogy, and if you enjoy grim dark fantasy with some, not so much as grim as other books that the other book I'm going to talk, but a bit grim, a bit fantastic, several monsters that are kind of interesting, some book with a side plot that connects in the end, some reading arc, at least for one character. If you enjoy LGBTQ stuff there, you can also read this, because there are some, well, vast majority of characters are it. It's good, and I enjoyed. I give it a 4 stars. I enjoyed, and I'm keen to continue reading this series and finishing this series. So, 4 stars. Another contender for book of the month. Then I read the James R. Moore, The Last Sacrifice. I already did a book review about this, and also a great introduction. This is more grim dark, to be honest, compared with that one. The world is very depressing. The world is very, well, difficult to handle. All of these omnipresent, omniscient gods that knows everything and come for you. These monster beings that, like Nazgul, that tries to collect people to sacrifice for their gods. Everything here depicts grimdark. I enjoyed this, and I gave it 80 out of 100. Another one that I'm going to read next month. Then Warhammer Horror: The Reverie by Peter Ferrari. So this one is probably one of the books that surprised me, because I was not going to read this. I'm going to read Assassin and Kingmaker, if I'm not mistaken, but then I changed it to this. And the reason I changed, because I read one book from him and I didn't enjoy it. And I thought, okay, these books do sell for a lot of money. Maybe I'm going to try another one, see how I enjoy it, and if not, I will sell it. That's it. So I grabbed this and I read this. I read this in 1 week, but I read this in like 4 sittings. So I read in the Saturday, in the Sunday. Then I don't read anything during the week. I read again Saturday and Sunday, and I finished the book. I love it. I love everything in this book. The way it's written, it's beautiful. I would advise you. This is one of those instances I say that my Goodreads review is very much better, because I don't script what I say, but there I can write and delete and so on. So there, yeah, I believe it's everything that I love about this is there. But this is one of the best books I read this year, without any doubt. And seeing that this author can do this, maybe the author is not for sale after all. But I did enjoy this. It's about the Space Marine chapters that is kind of weird compared with the others that we know about in Warhammer, but this one is a bit different. It's well written. It's one of the best, one of the best, I don't know, you get to what I'm saying, the best written book I've read, one of the best written books I read. There were so many weird words that I had to search, because I know not in English native, but most of the books I don't search anything. I kind of understand everything, but this one he uses strange words. 90 out of 100. Then you've got Making History by T.J. Parker. This is a novella book which I read after reading the first one last month. I did read this one, and this one was also very interesting. This was about a city that not a city, but a person that rules the city. He wants to invade another country, but to do that he has to have like a claim or something that allows him to to sell, to invade with the backing of the people, and so he tries to make a claim. Imagine Crusader Kings 3, where you get claims, and so he tries to get a claim about this city, and so for this he thought, okay, we have to do something here. We have to do something more. We have to invent like an history that the people, our ancestors, lived there, and they were pushed back by the people now living there. We're talking about 700 years before. We have to invent a culture, a name, everything related to ours, so those people understand that and feel some invested in invading a new country, some backing. And so they start doing that. There's 12 guys, one for arts, one for language, one for history, one for constructing the city, like ruins and so on. There are some, back in the middle, there are some stuff that starts seeming weird, because it seems that country that they are inventing existed before, and so they are very concerned, how can this be? And maybe it's spies that are making they know about this, and they are trying to change history, and in the end the author tries to explain a bit like the probabilities why this is happening, and it's very interesting to see the ending. I really enjoy the ending, because you know that you don't get an ending, this is the end. No, you get like some theories, and it was very interesting, because you know that history is written by the winner. So if a country wins another, those are the good guys. Usually it's like that. Nowadays it's a bit more difficult, but back then it was like this. So yeah, another good book. Then I also read, I read and finished. I finished today Vampire Hunter D. This is Pale Angel, book 1 and book 2. So these are two books, 200 pages each book, and it was another great entry point for Vampire Hunter D, because we get a lot of backstories. Mainly in the second book there are so many backstory for D, and although it's kind of interesting, because it's, if you watch anime you know everything. Like sometimes you're watching anime and someone says, aren't you, and then something happens and they never finish the sentence, but you know what they are going to say, you know what they are saying. And here is the same. Everyone knows that D is something related to the sacred, and to the sacred ancestor, so the king of all the vampires. But there are hints, there are never real say, yes it is. So it's hints, but you know that it's possible, because he does things only the sacred ancestor can do, and so on. So I really love this book, and I'm going to read the third and the fourth part of this tale, probably not this week, this month, but the next one. Then, in terms of books, I read the Claymore series and one book from Frirum. Frirum is a tale about an elf. This is the elf here. She lives thousands of years. The rest does not. So the story begins with him, her arriving to a city after winning something, defeating the demon lord. But people go old, so everyone goes their place. They become like heroes forever. But then people go old, and she lives her life without care, without any issue, like, because she has all the time in the world, but humans don't have. So it's kind of interesting to see this elf learning about mortality, learning about death and life, and learning about why humans for her are rushing, but for us it's normal for her rushing, because she does things at a leisure. She has all the time in the world. So it was interesting. I don't think I'm going to buy the next book, but I don't know. I have to think if this settles with me, you know. And then I read the volume 1, 2, and 3 of Claymore. Claymore is a series about this woman which kills monsters that exist, and she is half monster. And so the three books basically tell us the tale of her. The first book tells a bit about her, about the companion that she has. The second book tries to delve more about what is her and how she came to be, more than that. Third, not to, oh, come to be. Come to be is this one. This one is more what she is, what she believes, and what the world must do for her to do what she's meant to be, to do, like killing these monsters. And there's one very heartbreaking scene when she has to kill some other Claymore, and it's explained there. So cool. And this one is her backstory basically. It ends the second volume, and then it have three more stories that starts by telling her the person that teach her, or at least the person that she tries to emulate and tries to do what she does. It's very cool. I really enjoy it. I'm fourth book here on my shelf to read in the next few days. I am currently reading. I'm going to finish, but I don't want to put here because it's a reread. I'm rereading The Murder on the Orient Express. I read this book 13 years ago in Portuguese. I'm now reading it in English. It's amazing. This always was one of my favorite Agatha Christie books, and it's amazing that I still remember so much about this even after 13 years. So that's my goal. Sometimes I'm going to do that. I'm going to try to read like 7, 8 books. I'm content with books I read. I'm going to reread a novel that I enjoyed, and I've bought even one I'm going to read because I didn't enjoy as much in the first try, was The Road, and this is something that I'm going to read maybe next month, who knows, because I didn't seem to enjoy the book as much as I hoped, but now maybe I will. Now, book of the month, it is going to be The Reverie. It's an amazing 5-star books. I believe apart from Earl of Ruin, they both have 5 stars, but this one tops. The way it's written, not the complete story, but the story, how it's written, how it depicts. There are some caveats that I didn't enjoy in the end, but overall it's a great tale for you to delve more. Is it horror? Maybe. I wouldn't consider it's not like some Tormented or Red or something like that, but it's some eerie feeling that in your mind you know something is off. Again, go read my review in Goodreads for me to explain more on that, or my independent book review. So that's it for me this month. I hope you enjoy this, and well, see you next